Israel News viewers. I'm Oriel Moran. This is Levi from Discover Israel Tour with Levi. Where are we? What are we doing here?
We're in the ancient city of Tiberias. Here we are on the seashores of the Sea of Galilee, or the Sea of Tiberias, or the Sea of Rakat. Reference, this is a very strategic and important site from the times of Jesus, 2,000 years ago.
Let's go explore.
Here we are standing in the ancient Tiberias. Tiberius Caesar was the ruler of the whole Roman Empire during the times of Jesus. Here in Lucas we could read about the Caesar Tiberius, which this city is named after. בשנת 15 למלכות Tiberias Caesar, in the 15th year of the leadership of Tiberius, linking this city directly to the story of Jesus. From this great viewpoint, we can see how the city was laid out. Here we can see the theatre, like every good Roman city had. We had the corridor going from north to south, straight down the middle where that walkway is, and we can see the port city over here, which would then take trade going north to south or anywhere in the Sea of Galilee. The governor of this peninsula was Pontius Pilatus, and Herod, who was the tetrarch of the area, he dedicates this city to Tiberius Caesar. This is the trade capital of the northern peninsula of Israel during the times of Jesus, and we heard of Jesus going to cities such as Capharnaum or Capernaum and Tabcha, and so this was definitely a place that he most likely would have passed. I couldn't say he stood where we're standing right now, but I could definitely say that he saw the view that we're looking at right now. And this city then turns into a Jewish capital, as Jesus was Jewish. The city of Tiberias comes to become the capital of Jewish Torah study after the destruction of the Second Temple and the downfall of the revolt of Bar Kokhba in the year 132 until 135, 136. So Jerusalem then becomes the city Jews are forbidden to come to. They come to the northern parts of Israel in the Galilee. We can see the rabbis writing the Mishnah. They sit here, and a lot of them, the Mishnah was then accumulated in Tzipori with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, and then the Jewish Talmud, the Jerusalem Talmud, was written here by members of the Sanhedrin and other rabbis inside of the city of Tiberias. Eventually the Sanhedrin does move here until the year 425, where we see that is the last year that we have the Sanhedrin. So an essential part, development of Judaism after the destruction of the Second Temple, happens in this city of Tiberias. We're going to go check out now. We're now at the historic site of Tiberias, next to the theatre that would have held approximately between 4,000 to 6,000 people. Now initially this place had 3 stories going up. In the 1st century it was originally built, then it was rebuilt again in the 3rd and the 4th century. A terrible earthquake came and brought it down, and eventually the 3rd story was completely not used. It was filled up, and by the year 749 already it was just filled with dirt and used for residence house. But for today's importance with archaeology, we've dug all the way down. Now we're standing on the original Roman plateau you can see before us. This area is the orchestra. This is where the people would have sat, and we can see the initial stage over here. Now it was built quite smart because they built it perfectly so the sun doesn't go into the people's eyes while they're sitting down. As you can see, the sun's going from the east to the west right over this theatre. It never actually blocks their eyes. Every classic Roman city will have a theatre, a temple, possibly a brothel, and a bathhouse, one of the most important things in Roman culture. So first, you'd wrestle, you'd sweat out any toxins you'd have, and then you'd go into maybe a cold room or a hot room, and you'd go through this kind of cycle, which was very much part of culture. As a Roman soldier, you'd get it for free, which was very exciting. We're now in the private rooms of the bathhouse, where if you wanted a special activity such as soap being rubbed on you and scraped off, or a massage, you'd go into the back rooms. So you can see these little sections where would be personal sections. People would sit down and then you'd get your personal treatment here, secluded away from everyone else. In more wealthier places such as Tsipori, or Caesarea, you can see these places are full with marble, but here we can see the spackle on the outside with the clay tablets to actually build the structure. You can see these aqueduct sort of indents where the water would have run through. If we look just here, we can see part of the beautiful mosaics. We have the color red, the color blue, the color white. Kind of blackish blue. The more blue, you know that it was more of an important and wealthier place. Here's just more of the private rooms. You can see the cisterns underneath. I guess we'll jump down there. The Sanhedrin, the legislative council of the Judean Empire, moved out of the temple around the year 30 to the year 40. That same time is the years where Jesus prophesies the destruction of the second temple. Great corruption was happening between the sects of the Jews, and they wanted to move out and not be part of it. They end up traveling all around Israel, including Yavne, including Sha'arim, Bet Sha'arim, Tzipori, and eventually they come here to Tiberias. I'm standing now in the location proposed to where they actually set. The suggested building looked somewhat like this, with great architecture and important symbols here. This column, which is clearly being used for a second time, would have been one of the columns standing in the room of the Sanhedrin. Here we can see a Corinthian capital from limestone, which would have been at the top of it. The Sanhedrin profusely rejected the ideas of Jesus, of this reform, of this trying to correct people's ways. At that time, it was a very sensitive period of time. There were lots of sects of Jews who were now fighting over this right way. Some of them which core beliefs were indifferent to the other Jews. So Jesus' perspective and sort of reform that he was trying to bring into this region and the region of Jerusalem was considered dangerous and considered, even at one point, blasphemous against God. It's kind of this fear factor that, you know, someone who's so successful so fast could create great danger for the set ideologies that were already in place.
So I'm going to go into the Roman bathhouse. As you can see, I'm just thinking about the times of Yeshua and all of the customs that they had, and just how different it was from the kingdom of God, right? The kingdom that Yeshua came with, the kingdom that he spoke about. And I'm sure there were many that might have wanted to follow that way, but the system around them, the culture, the corruption, right? It probably made it very hard to be able to follow that way. Society was built that way at that time, in a sort of structure that you didn't want to be the odd one out, right? You didn't want to be without protection. And when Yeshua stands and before the Sanhedrin and is in front of a trial before them, before he's going to be crucified, you can see just how much he was going to stand alone, but he wasn't alone. God was with him. And so this is an encouragement to us that even if your belief contradicts the whole system, the culture around you, it's still worth standing for and fighting for. We're about to go into the water of the Sea of Galilee. I want to show you guys just how beautiful it is. Even after sunset, you can see how calm it is. These are the very waters that Yeshua and the disciples would fish in these waters. He walked on these waters. He calmed the storm in these waters. He rebuked the storm, right? And he also gave them faith and a lot of parables on these hills next to these waters. And also a lot of people would follow him, right? They would follow him in the boat because they wanted to be near Yeshua. But I think what's really important is that many of the disciples, they were actually called from within their fisher boats, right? They were here in these waters and he called them and they went after him. And I think that that is sort of a testament to the power that he held, that he had so much influence that even strangers would come and see him and say, there's something there, I'm going to follow this. It's been such a beautiful day here in the modern city of Tiberias and also in the ancient city of Tiberias, learning about Yeshua, learning about the city and everyone that ruled and didn't rule at that time. Levi, how do you feel about this place?
I feel great. You just come to the Sea of the Galilee, you can feel the calm, serene spirit that Jesus would have felt standing out here. It really can connect you to the stories and the places that he would have walked, the places that he would have seen, can deepen faith.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you want more Israel-related content, go to allisraelnews.com, hit the notification bell, hit subscribe, and Levi and I will see you guys in the next one.